Andy, how much are you looking forward to this World Cup qualification process that is very short but begins now?
Yeah, I think when a campaign starts, there's always excitement as to what lies ahead. This one's no different. We've done really well in the Euro campaigns. I think our last World Cup campaign was a really good one in terms of the group stages. Obviously, the playoffs then became a disappointment, but I think when we look back on our last three campaigns in terms of qualifying, they've been, really good. So we have to try and take that into these ones. Like you said, it's quite a short one that it's mad to think it will be over in November. And there's only 6 games and it's a competitive group, and we know getting off to a good start's crucial, and hopefully we can do that, and then it stands us in good stead for the next 2 international breaks.
Given that, then, would it be fair to say there's not a lot of margin for error?
I think all the teams in the group will be probably saying similar. I think obviously there's only 6 games. Like you said, there's not much margin for error. It's going to be over dead quick, and so it's up to us to try and capitalise on that, to try and get the results that we need. Nobody knows how many points you'll need, how many wins, how many draws, whatever else, but all we can do is try and compete in every single game, pick up the points that we believe we need, and if we do that, then hopefully it's enough come November or come March if we get a playoff.
Last time we played here, you were playing in an unusual position given the COVID situation, but what was it going to take tomorrow for Scotland to get a positive result?
Yeah, I think we need to get back to what we're good at. I think obviously March was a bit of a difficult one because we had one really good result and one result that was hugely disappointing at home, and then obviously in the summer, the home game was really disappointing. We need to get back to just working as a unit, trying to be difficult to beat, but also trying to cause problems to the other team. So we're going to need that tomorrow night. We've been here before. We know that the Danish fans create a fantastic atmosphere. They always get right behind their team and create incredible noise, which the last time we were here, certainly the players reacted off that and put in a really good performance, especially in the first half. And then it probably took us to the second half to settle down, and the damage was probably already done, even though the second half we'd done a lot better. So it's up to us. We need to try and get off to a good start, and then try and build into the game, and hopefully we can do that, and also cause them problems as well. And if we can do that, then we believe we can get a positive result.
It's still early in the season, but how difficult or awkward a situation has it been not playing as many minutes as you're used to?
Not been awkward. I don't think awkward's the right word. I think it's been difficult for different reasons. Like you said, I'm used to playing pretty much every game. I've had 8 years at Liverpool where I was, apart from obviously the very start, I was always the starter. I was always playing, and now the first 3 games, I've obviously found myself on the bench, which is what it is. I had time to think over the summer as to what I wanted. I made the decision, and I still believe that if I keep doing what I'm doing, then I'll play a lot of games for club and country, and that's my main focus this season. My main focus is, when called upon, to produce as well as I can for Scotland and to produce well as I can for Liverpool, and hopefully I can look back in the summer that I'm heading to a World Cup and I've maybe got a couple more trophies in my back pocket as well.
What were those thoughts over the summer like? Was it tough? Was it difficult? What was it like over the summer discussing like that?
Yeah, it was difficult. It was the first summer ever that I've probably had to think about my future. It's always been nailed on as to where I'm going to be and what my position looks like. So for the first time, I probably had to consider different things, and I did that with my family, and ultimately we came to the conclusion that our hearts were still at Liverpool, and it was a decision to stay, and we committed to that, and it's one that I don't regret. It's one I'm happy about. And in pre-season, in the close season, I've worked probably harder than I ever worked. In the pre-season, I've came back in really good shape, felt strong, felt really good in pre-season. I think I showed that in training and games, and obviously the start of the season is always a bit difficult. I think there's only a game week to week. Obviously we've got off to a really good start, but we've 3 out of 3. So from a manager's perspective, there's not much reason to change anyone's position really. And I think when we get back, we have pretty much 3 games every week. the Saturday or the Sunday we get back until the next international break. So I'm sure there will be a bit more rotation. Whether it happens in my position, that's yet to be seen. None of us can look in the future, but I believe I've done everything I can to be in the manager's thoughts, and that's all I can do.
Just on this group, how do you assess it? I think there is that general feeling of Greece, Denmark and Scotland, they're all going to be tight and taking points off each other. Do you share that sort of idea that it's going to go right down to the wire?
Yeah, I think every pot, it's a really difficult team. I think even pot 4 Belarus, it's not going to be an easy game. It's they're a difficult team to play against, and we've obviously played against Greece recently, which we know how difficult they are. We know they're a kind of up and coming team that have got good talent, young talent as well, and Denmark, I think over the last good few years have shown how to consistently be a kind of pot 1 team of qualifying for every tournament and competing in every tournament as well. And they've had a fantastic run at it, and they're a really good nation, a really good team to look at, and it's going to be difficult. But we also believe on our day that we can be difficult to play against. I think we've shown that over the last few years, and if we do that, then like we say, we believe that we grow confident in games and in campaigns, and if we can do that, then hopefully we can achieve what we want to achieve.
And Andy, you talk about the kind of the noise throughout the summer, but you obviously lost one of your teammates in the summer as well. The emotion of that, does that kind of put things into perspective of what's really important in life?
Yeah, the most difficult thing we'll ever go through. Such a surprise, such a shock, devastating for his family first and foremost, but obviously devastating for us as a group of lads. And yeah, obviously football, I don't think anyone could care less about football when things like that happen. It puts life into perspective as to what's important. Spending time with your family, spending time with your kids, because you never know what's round the corner. And yeah, it's the toughest thing, like I says, we'll ever be through. Losing one of your closest mates for me was hugely difficult, and yeah, it's something we'll probably never get over, but it's just something that we have to carry with us. We have to carry the memories we've got with him with us, and as long as we continue to do that, then he'll always be in our thoughts, he'll always be in our hearts, and yeah, that's all we can do.
Did that almost influence your decision, Andy, because you start to realise what's important in life?
It didn't influence my decision. The decision was already made before. The decision was already made before, obviously, the tragedy. But I knew then, in that moment, I knew that the club needed me in that moment as well. I know I'm one of the leaders in the team. I've obviously been made vice captain now, and it's going to take a lot this season. I know football was irrelevant, but we take football out of it. Even as lads in the change room, we're all going to need help during the season. We've already had difficult moments in terms of first time in front of fans, having to go to your teammate's funeral, which is absolutely madness to even say, and everything else that followed after it. So, I know the leaders in that change room have got a big job to do this season in terms of trying to help everyone as a club, and even Diogo's family through this massively difficult moment. And it won't get easier, but maybe we can numb the pain a little bit as time goes on, and it's up to us leaders to try and guide us through that.
You've obviously had a stellar career, won just about everything. How much would getting to a World Cup as Scotland captain feel like you just kind of topped everything off?
Yeah, obviously I'm 31 now. I'm not getting any younger. You don't know where your career's going to go, so I'm looking at this one. Hopefully it's not my last, but potentially, obviously the next World Cup campaign I'll be 36. I've got no doubt that all of you have written me off by that point, and probably other people will have written me off as well. But no, look, obviously I've been through World Cup campaigns already, and I've came close, and I've not quite managed it. And if I look back on my career, I've achieved a hell of a lot of stuff that I'm really proud of. But it's one thing that's clearly missing, and it would be amazing to do that. Obviously, I'm in an era that, I remember the 1998 World Cup briefly. I was only four and a bit, and that was obviously the last time we were there. And it's something that we want to provide for the Tartan Army. We want to provide for ourselves. We want to be involved in it because it's the pinnacle of your career, and you know, we've obviously got another chance to now do that, and you know, if we can do it, then you know, there won't be anyone more prouder and more excited for a World Cup than me.
Andy Kieran's obviously had to pull out of the squad. He's been an important player for Scotland at times. Are you hopeful that he'll come back? And he's obviously been struggling for 90 minutes this season so far. Is he still a player with a big future for Scotland?
Yeah, 100%. Katie's a fantastic player, fantastic character in the change room as well. And I think it was just, you know, it was just unfortunate. You know, he's obviously shown up the camp. He's had to scan, and unfortunately the scan had ruled him out both games, which is hugely disappointing first and foremost for him, but for us as well. You know, he's a fantastic player. You know, like I said, a fantastic person as well, which has really grown into the squad. He obviously came in really young and took time to find his feet, and now he's really grown to, you know, a massive member of our team. So it's great to see him back at Celtic. It's great to seeing him playing week in, week out, and I think now the next step for Katie is just to try and, you know, play 90 minutes, and he knows that, but I think they're getting closer to that in terms of every game he's probably playing a bit more and more minutes. And look, I think this one, as far as I'm aware, is a contact injury, so it's not as if he's had a knockback in any terms of that. So it's a contact injury which can happen to any of us, especially he's been in Kazakhstan, he's then played an Old Firm game, which we know how, you know, tasty day games can be, and yeah, it's just unfortunate timing for us, but you know, I don't think it will set back Katie too long, and you know, hopefully come October he'll be back in the Scotland jersey.
Andy, you talk about this potentially being, or the guys getting old on the squad, potentially this could be the manager's last campaign, you know, the way things are going for him. Can you talk to us a little bit about the job he's done in the time that he's been the manager, and I'm wondering if that gives you guys extra motivation that potentially this could be Steve's last campaign? Yeah,
I think, yeah, look, as it stands, it is, because of, you know, obviously contract situation, and you know, obviously we don't know our situation because it depends on how we're still performing at 36, 37. But you know, obviously his is a contract, and whatever happens in the future we don't know. But he's been unbelievable. He's been unbelievable for Scotland. He's helped us massively to achieve our dreams, because when he took over, we hadn't been to a tournament since 1998. Never mind, you know, a World Cup. It was, you know, we hadn't never been to Euros, and now we've been to two. We've gained experience of that. We've had so many highs. Okay, we've had some lows, but I think that's part and parcel of it. So without him, none of that would have been possible. We wouldn't have been able to achieve our dreams of playing at a major tournament with the country. And you know, I'm obviously, you know, I'll be forever grateful for him. When I was captain, obviously, before he came in, but he's really helped me, you know, be able to achieve the dream of being captain at you know, a major tournament, and also captain my country in massive games, you know, and even qualifying campaigns, and being able to achieve good results. So he's been great, and you know, if it is his last World Cup campaign, then of course it's extra motivation for us. And if it is going to be, you know, some of the mainstays are getting a bit older, and if it's going to be our last World Cup campaign, then you know, there's motivation as well. But I think when you cross the white lines, it's just the motivation of getting to World Cup's enough, and I think we're just excited and ambitious to try and get to a World Cup as a collective, and I think that's motivation enough.
As you're sitting here right now, Andy, what is it that gives you the main confidence that we can actually do it, you guys can do it?
I just believe we've got a lot of quality within the squad. First of all, I look at the squad on paper when it comes out. You look at it and you look at the teams next to the names, and you know, we've got so many players playing at such a good level, and then it's all about, because that's one thing, and then the next thing is bringing it all together and trying to play together as a team. And I think we've shown that at times, that we can be a fantastic team when we do the right things, and we do the basics, and we do it properly. And I think more often than not we've done that. So I believe if we do that, then we can cause any team problems. Now, whether it's enough to win the group is yet to be seen. Whether it's enough to finish second, like I said, for a playoff is yet to be seen. But we do believe that going into all these games, we've got a chance to win. And if we don't win, we've got a chance to draw. And that is what you need going into these campaigns. And if we can do that, then let's see where we are mid-November when the campaign's over, and see where we're sat in that table. And you know, hopefully we've either qualified, or hopefully we've still got a chance to qualify.
And Andy, the manager's not been able to call upon Ben as often as he would have liked, but we've got him now, and he's now got the move to Bournemouth. He's a player you know very well, see them at close proximity. Do you think he could be the X factor that we've maybe been needing to get to a World Cup? No, because I don't want to put pressure on him. I think
I've watched Doki grow from a boy. I wouldn't quite say he's a man yet, but he's certainly on his way. But no, look, he came to Liverpool really, really young. I've seen him grow as a player in particular. He's matured a lot. You know, when he first came, he was just head down, dribble, sometimes give it away, sometimes be successful. Now he's getting a lot better at when to pass, when to dribble, when to take your man on, when to, you know, maybe use your full back or whatever. So I think he's slowly but surely getting to become the full package, and I think his move to Bournemouth will help that. Hopefully he gets, you know, regular game time at a really good club, which, you know, is doing really well, and I'm quite happy that I can, you know, pass my guidance now on to Ryan Christie, and he can look after him. But yeah, he's a fantastic player, Doki. I love him. I love watching him. He's one of the players that gets the fans off their seat. He's exciting, and yeah, it's great to have him in the squad. It's great to have his ability and his technique and everything, his excitement for the game in the squad, and, you know, hopefully he can play a big part. But like I said, I don't want to put too much pressure on him.
Thank you. Thanks, folks.
Thanks.